I was the first UPBEAT client in Oakridge, West Fur area program, which is the Sorority program for the Oakridge, West Fur area. We call it UPBEAT. Gordon will talk about that a little bit more. It was his acronym. I went to the original meeting with Ernesto and I was really impressed. I thought he was a really funny guy, really good sense of humor. Reminded me of Peter Sellers and the Pink Panther. That's the first thing that popped in my mind. It felt like a really good program. You know, you hear about a million different ways to help businesses and all this, but this one was a new approach, and I thought, well, it sounds pretty interesting. And there were other people in that room at that day, some really skeptical people in that room that have been very skeptical about things that have happened in this community, and they too came away really impressed, and one of them said, where's this been the last 15 years? And that's when I really knew that this program was going to take off. My theory was this, program could really help a lot of people, and it's done that. I mean, it's been really successful. We've opened up 30-some businesses in Oakridge. We had 32 businesses in Oakridge. We had 7 new clients just in January of this year, and we had a Chinese restaurant and a laundromat open in a shopping center, a small shopping center, if you want to call it that. And after that opened, especially a Chinese restaurant, the word really spread that we got 7 clients since that's open. It's been less than a month, in fact. And it's just a really good theory because it is true that you're not good. Not everybody is equally good at promoting, not equally good at product, not equally good at financial. So it's nice to have people in the community that get together once a month and try and help each other out. And it's been really helpful for me as a client. I was the first client. Some people have given me some really good advice. I've been able to talk to some financial people and point me in the right directions on some stuff, some marketing people. And actually just interesting as a business owner, you're so deep in your business you don't see it as an outsider's view. So that was really helpful to get some views from some other business people. I found out about it from our city administrator, Gordon Zimmerman, who was involved with the Sorority Institute in Baker City, Oregon. And he brought him on board once they came over here, once he got the job in Oakridge. It's a small town. It happened kind of just all at once. At the meeting, Ernesto shook my hand and said, you're going to be the first client, okay? And I said, fine, I'll be the first client. So that's how it happened. And then, we kind of figured who was going to be board members right after. So I guess, I was a client first and then board member, but not long after. Well, we only talk when we're in the meetings because it's confidential. So that's something that really needs to be made clear, especially now in a small town. There's some people that were a little hesitant, but you got to remember this. It's carrying confidential help. The only time we talk as a group is when we're in that room. We don't talk about this outside. We don't talk about clients outside this or whatever. I never talk to board members about ex-client when I'm just socializing with them. The only time we talk about that is when we're in that room. After that, the program goes away. That way there's no rumors or whatever going around, and that's strictly enforced, and you sign the confidentiality agreement at every meeting, and so that's really important. And, put your personal differences aside. If you're in a small town, which everybody knows, sometimes everybody doesn't get along in a small town, but we've got people in those rooms that haven't been on the same side on issues. But when they get in that room, everybody works together, and I've seen it. I've seen people that I know outside of that room aren't exactly the best friends, but they work well inside that room in the meetings. In the meeting, we talk about, this is the way I see it. This person, wants to open a restaurant. So the restaurant person says, whoa, they didn't even think about that. They really need to do what we call homework, and that's what our enterprise facilitator gives people steps to work them through the process and to find out, frankly, if they're even going to do it. Because just because somebody ends up not opening a business doesn't mean they're a failure. That's a success, too. You convince that person maybe you're not where you need to be opening a business, So, it's just things like that. Or the finance person will go, whoa, they can't finance something like that. Or somebody's going to build a new building, and they'll say, that's just absolutely not realistic that they're going to be able to build a building for $100,000. Or, on the positive end of things, you have people that are like, oh, I've got a CPA that can help that person that specializes in that field. Or I know a contact at the SBA office that can help that person. And it's very helpful that way. I wouldn't say there's any favorite moments. It's just always exciting to hear about these new businesses that are up or coming, and you have no idea they exist. You know, they're basically home-based businesses that are ready to launch into a real store, and you're hearing about them, or there's a new restaurant coming to town. I have to say, when I heard we were getting a Chinese restaurant, that was pretty exciting. And that was a long process, which our enterprise facilitator, Jennifer, helped out a lot with that. I mean, she helped out. She was everything from start to finish. She's an interpreter for the guy at times because the language barrier was a little rough at times, and you know, just everything. So personally, that was one of my favorite, just because I was really excited to have a Chinese restaurant in our town. Oh, we interact very well. You have to have somebody that interacts well. You know, that's the key to it. You have to work together because you're a team once you're in that room. And then, you know, after that, you give her insight, and she has to understand what we were saying to take back to that client. Because, you know, after that, we're not going to go talk to that client as a board. We're not allowed to do that. But she goes and passes on our knowledge to the client and tells them X, Y, Z, or, you know, you should go talk to this person about being your CPA and that kind of stuff. So it's a very good relationship, and she listens to what we have in the room, and then she also gives her input at the right times when it's appropriate. There's no stupid ideas. Trust me, we've heard some interesting ideas since we've gotten started. I mean, we can't talk about them, can we? We've heard some really creative ideas, to say the least, but we answer them. I mean, one of them was just off the wall, but we still talked about that person. We spent a good half an hour on that person and why it wouldn't work, and maybe how he could spin this creative idea of his into another area and stuff. But, you know, we don't put anybody down. Oh, that's the key. That's how the program grows. You got to do your board introductions. You know, it's very important. You know, there's some people that probably got introduced 10 times by now, but that's okay. It's 10 different people, because that person knows 10 different people that the person before him didn't know. So that's very key, because a lot of these follow-ups come from somebody introducing somebody. Like, I was just sitting there having a beer one day and did some intros, and 2 of those people are now clients, you know. They just happen to have their own businesses and stuff, and Jennifer happened to be out for dinner, and I was sitting having a beer with some friends and introductions, and 2 of those people are now clients, you know. Stuff like that works. It's the biggest key to the whole thing, because it just snowballs. One person knows one person knows one person. And it's not just for clients, it's also for board members, because you always need fresh board members. You always need somebody with different perspective to come in there. So that's why it's really important. Plus, it spreads the word how positive this program is in your community. It says to those, you know, you may get one of those guys who's buddies with one of the naysayers, but they get introduced, and then Jennifer, your enterprise facilitator, takes the time to explain it, and they go, wow, that's a pretty cool program after all. No, the training doesn't take that long, and you're talking about 2 hours a month, you know, and then every once in a while there'll be special meetings for fundraising or something like that. So you're looking at a total commitment of under 30 hours a year. I mean, well, I guess a little bit more if you consider your introductions and stuff, but I mean, it's not a lot of time, you know. It's well worth it. What's the program about? What exactly does it do? It's just about helping. To me, it's simplifying. It's just about helping small businesses, not even necessarily small, some large too, that need that extra boost to get them going, or businesses that are up and going that are stagnant. I mean, that's also some of the clientele. I mean, there's long-time businesses here in town that have hit a stagnant stage that are client members now too, that need to reinvent themselves because things change, you know. And it's just helping everybody from your home, you know, home business, one employee, the person themselves, up to multiple employee businesses. And it's about being creative. I mean, that's the other thing this is about. When you're in that room with all the other board members, it's amazing the creativity you guys can feed off of each other and the ideas you can come up with. It just amazes me. And like I said, especially when you're dealing with shows, that when you're dealing with somebody that comes in with an off-the-wall idea, and you still spend that half an hour for that client, knowing that this idea will probably never work, but you're going to take the time and you're going to try and help them. I think that just shows how committed this board is to making this project work. Because they could just say, this is nuts. Why are we wasting time on it? But no, they brainstorm and they try and think of ways. Maybe if this guy just did this, or maybe there's an application for it, maybe in this field, but, you know. So it's been a lot of fun. I think I've really enjoyed it.